You know what that is? Me neither. But I ordered it for 10 bucks because apparently that's what's wrong with that. A friend of mine was throwing this away. It quit working, and I asked for it and he gave it to me. And I asked him what the symptoms were. So I typed in the TV and the symptoms, and the consensus was that it was something called a T-con board. So I found a T-con board for that model number, and I got it on eBay for $10, including shipping. And so what we're going to do is get that up on the sawhorses here and start taking it apart, and take it apart until we find something that looks like that and replace it. See if that works. Alright, I'm going to get it up on these sawhorses here. Well, the first thing is to get this base off, and I believe it's probably these 4 screws that hold them on, and those are Phillips. So and then all these around here are Torx, which I have. So alrighty, let us get to work here. Here, move it back just a little bit. There we go. Yep. All right, good. All right. Boy, that is really heavy, that little thing. That's amazing. Okay. Now I'll get after all these Torx. I won't make you watch me doing that. Be back when I get this off. All right, I got all the screws undone, but I just couldn't get them out of the hole. So I have this little magnet that I'm fishing them out with. Okay. Now that's the one screw I missed here. I see 2 more screws I missed. Man, that's a lot of screws. Alright, go put these screws away before I lose them. Alright, let me get you over here so you can have a look too. Sorry, hope I didn't make you dizzy. Okay. Here's what we're looking for. I got a feeling that might be it. I forgot to pick these screws up. I'm glad I saw them. Okay, so let's see what needs to come off. I'll have to do some thinking on this and see what needs to come off to get to that. We'll be right back when I figure it out. Okay, it appears everything has to come off, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that much trouble. 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 10 screws at the most. And what I hope to do is I hope to not have to take this all the way up, maybe just lift it up enough to get this part out. But let me get a few more screws out and I'll have a better look at it. And let me warn you also that these some of these capacitors can hold a charge, and I don't know which ones, so I'm not going to touch nothing in there. But while this is open, what I'm going to do is look for black or scorched marks where perhaps something blew or maybe didn't have a good solder connection. And I see a fuse in here that appears to be okay. There's another fuse over here. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll take you over here and we'll look at them. Alright, there's one fuse, and there's another fuse right there. And they don't look black or blown or anything. So, oh, here's a third one right there. But what I am going to do is take my air hose and I'm going to blow all the dust off of this before I go any further. And it'll be good as new. Alright, let's get you back on the ground, and I'm going to pull some more screws out. We'll be back when I got something different here. Yep. I got some tape here I got to undo. Alright, get something that'll hold it up about this height while I work up under here. Be right back. Okay, this is what we got to undo right here. Yep, by golly. Okay. Now these somehow fold up. I got to figure out how that happens. This one unplugs, I believe. Yeah, okay. That one unplugs. And I think these fold, but I'm afraid to tug too hard. I better do a little bit of research. I'll be back when I find out. Okay, I didn't go anywhere. I just looked at this one, and here's how they just kind of fold up. Let's see. So here we go. I have no fingernails, and this thumb got sliced from a tomato slicer. I got burned here, and I've got a broken joint here. This poor hand has been through hell, and I can hardly do anything with it. So let me get, oh, here we go. I'm just going to try to get a fingernail under there. Now I'm gonna have to get like maybe a razor blade or something. I can't make my hands work. Be right back. Alright, let's see. Yep. From what I understand, these got to go back in exact. And I'll give you a close-up of this here in a minute. You will see how unbelievably tiny these little wires are. Come on. Okay. There is the old T-con board. And T-con actually stands for timer control. There's the old one. And see if we can get a close-up of this here. Do you see how tiny the little wires are that they have to, here we go, they have to match up? And there's, I don't know, 150, I don't know. These little wires that these have to match up, and got to be exact. So this is going to take me some doing. I'm going to have to hold my tongue out the side of my mouth and wait for a moment when my hands aren't shaking, so this may take a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, we got it. Wasn't that difficult, but now I gotta screw this back on. Oh boy, I'll tell you, you need tiny little fingers to mess with this stuff. Come on, get in there. What a beautiful, beautiful day it is today. While I'm doing this, let's chat. I did a little something on my Facebook that has, I don't know, I wouldn't say sparked controversy, but I would say that my opinion perhaps may be a bit controversial. Only in the fact that I'm being realistic, and most people don't want to admit that the world has changed. Society as we know it has changed. And you have a choice. Change with it, or, you know, bad things happen. And by that I mean, well, I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. While I'm doing this, I'll try to put this together. I'm a gun owner. And as a gun owner, I don't think there's anything more important than me protecting children from accessing my guns. I mean, we've had a lot of shootings in schools by kids, and you have to ask yourself, how on earth are these kids getting a hold of weapons that they shouldn't have access to? Who is leaving weapons that unsupervised children can get to? And why, when these kids murder a dozen or a half a dozen or whatever people, why are the parents who left a gun laying on a nightstand loaded with no parental supervision, why aren't they sharing in the blame? Now, maybe that's controversial. I don't know. But to me, it just makes sense that when you have children home that are not supervised, because let's face it, in this world, it takes two people. Where were you? Where were you? I think it was this one. It takes two people to have a home and feed your kids and furniture and have a car, and you can't do it on one income anymore. And I just had a little discussion with a person who said that it's about kids not knowing respect and not being obedient. Well, you know, whatever the reason, that doesn't mean you don't have a responsibility to keep your weapons from coming into the hands of kids. I mean, you have an obligation when you buy a weapon to protect people from someone unauthorized getting hold of your weapons. If you have kids in your house and the mother or the father isn't there, and it's just, you know, teenagers, I mean, we all know kids are curious, and they're going to get a hold of them guns that you left on your nightstand, and they're going to shoot with it, take it out in the backyard. I mean, it's just human nature. Back when we were kids, you know, most of the time, the mother was home. It didn't take two people working 50, 60 hours a week to raise a family and have a home. It does now. There's no way around that. Unless, you know, you're on government assistance, and or unless you have an incredibly large income, which, you know, 90% of America is basically middle class, or, you know, lower end, upper end, but somewhere in the middle class. And you can't have a home on middle class income and feed children and have a car and keep them insured and buy them school clothes on one average income. So, just assuming that there's nobody in the home would be a natural assumption. And also assuming that any thinking person would not leave kids home alone with loaded guns easily accessible by kids. It just makes sense. And you would not believe the people that disagree with that, and it kind of freaks me out that there's so many people that think your responsibility to keep people safe ends when you purchase the gun. And I say, my opinion is, when you buy guns, you make a commitment to protect people from getting them who shouldn't have them. And I am 100% pro-gun. I would go to my grave to defend my Second Amendment rights, but I believe equally that people have an obligation to lock their guns up away from kids if they're not there to supervise their kids. It's just that simple. Anyway, going to move around to the other side. That's my opinion. And if you want to check that out, go check out my Facebook. It's all there. It's been an interesting conversation, and so far no one's been ugly. And I did remove one comment from some pinhead that from a country that doesn't have guns, and he thought it would be okay to insult all of America because we like to hunt and possess handguns. And so I just removed his comment, since he really has no valid opinion on this, since he doesn't live in America and doesn't live under the conditions we live under. And anyway, it was an ugly comment, so I just removed it rather than discuss it. All right, we'll be back. We're going to the other side, screw everything back together. All right, got everything screwed together. Let me just give a real quick check, make sure I didn't leave any tools. And hope I didn't alienate anybody with my opinion. I'll just say this will be my last word on that subject. I believe if you have a gun and you leave it loaded on your nightstand and you go to work, and your kid comes home from school, gets a hold of it, and shoots a neighbor, I believe you are equally as responsible for what just happened. You know, we have a problem with kids not being responsible, but we also have a problem with adults refusing to be responsible for things that they, by God, ought to be responsible for. It's like giving a kid alcohol, and then, they get drunk and get in a car and hurt themselves. Well, I think you're responsible if you gave that kid alcohol. It's no different than with a gun. So, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I'm just going to screw it back together, button it back up, and carry it in my house and plug it in, see if we can get some picture on it. All right, it's back together. This thing is just ungodly heavy, and I'm gonna need help bringing it inside to where I can test it, and I don't think my wife can do this, so probably gonna have to wait till my friend Dwayne comes over. And just to show you that I mean what I say about guns, I carry this gun everywhere. I'm 100% for personal ownership of guns. I'm also 100% for personal responsibility for your guns. All right, enough said. I don't usually rant, but this has been an ongoing discussion, and with all these kids getting killed in school, with just a little bit of care, the guns are locked up. How are you going to get to them? Anyway, let me see what I can do to get this inside. All right, it's fixed. It wouldn't even do this before. It wouldn't come on. It was a black screen. So, it's fixed. Bev, this is your new TV, 48 inches. I'll get it to you probably Thursday. See you then.